I now call this meeting in Davenport Community School District Board of Directors to order. Would everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I just want to note we are going to pull off the May is School Board Appreciation Month recognition with Superintendent Schneckloff not being here tonight. He would like to do that at the next regular meeting. All right. Director Beck, would you please read the mission and vision statements?
Yes. The mission statement. The Davenport Community School District is dedicated to growing excellence in academics, the arts, and athletics for every child by ensuring the highest quality education in an environment shaped by our diverse community, preparing our students to be lifelong learners and productive citizens. Vision statement. Education that challenges conventional thinking, prepares all students to compete in a global society, and inspires our students, parents, staff, and community to answer the question, what if?
Thank you, Director Beck. Director Hayes, would you please read the guiding principles?
I'll be happy to. Opportunities. We provide abundant opportunities to empower students to reach their full potential academically, creatively, and socially. Collaboration. We foster an environment that allows students, families, and communities, stakeholders to come together for the betterment of our students' education and future. Transparency. We share relevant and important information with our students, families, and the community to maintain open and productive communication.
Thank you, Director Hayes. Mr. Driscoll is filling in for Superintendent Schneckloff tonight. He's a little bit shorter. We even tried raising the seat up.
as high as it goes.
Mr. Driscoll, would you please read the goals we're going to be tying in tonight?
Yes, thank you. Our first goal is enhancing student learning. Goal number 2 is increasing access and success for all students. Goal tie-in number 3, all students experience a safe learning environment. And goal tie-in number 4 is to foster the innovative use of finances, facilities, and staff.
Thank you, Mr. Driscoll. First, for recognitions, we have Lisa Bartusik, who is retiring as the director of the Iowa Association of School Boards. Step on up to the microphone and the floor is yours.
Well, first, I have to tell you that I'm touched beyond belief that you would invite me to be both recognized and share a few words with you, because your board is special to me. You're not supposed to have favorites if you serve 327 school boards, plus the AEA boards and the community colleges. So I'm not saying you're my favorite board, but we've been through a lot together in a number of ways. And I think I mentioned to Kent before that, my family's from the Quad Cities. My mom's a Central High School graduate decades ago. And a lot of cousins are Davenport graduates as well. And I grew up in the Quad Cities. But when I say we've been through a lot together, I think about, and this is what Dan mentioned to me last week, or at the end of April when you were in Ankeny for our learning event, the challenges that Davenport went through in what I would call a crisis a few years ago mirrored the different context but similar leadership challenge, the challenges that IASB as an organization, as a nonprofit organization, went through in about 2010. And TJ and I have talked about that over time as leaders, that when your organization, I have described that IASB's challenges many years ago were like a heart attack, we were 65 years old. You're 165 years old as a district, as a nonprofit. And at age 65, we had a heart attack. It nearly killed us, but in the end, it didn't kill us. It made us stronger. And I feel like that's what we share as a nonprofit and a school district, is that when you go through a challenge, it makes you stronger. And I commend you for what you have done as a board and your administration and your staff with the support of your community to come through a tough situation a few years ago and make yourself stronger. But Dan, I decided not to talk more about that. But Brenda, I think it was, emailed me several ideas of what I could share with you. And one of them was 5 roles of the board, 5 things for school boards. So as I leave after like 30 years of service to school boards, the things I wanted to share with you tonight are, first, under the header, please always remember the culture of the boardroom impacts the culture of the classroom. I believe that down to my core because I've seen it in action time over time, and there's actually research that supports that what you do at the board table ultimately impacts what happens in the classroom because it shapes the culture of the school district. And when I think about what that work looks like, what I've seen for this board in recent years and for boards across the state, when school boards function well, kids really benefit. And what does that look like that I ask you always to remember? Well, one, I think those boards have a sense of urgency. And by sense of urgency, I mean the status quo isn't good enough. They want more for kids. They want more for the next generation than we had for ourselves. They're just on fire to improve their school district. And individually and collectively as a board, they know that they're just not complacent. But how does that play out as a board, that lack of complacency, that sense of urgency? Well, they get clear as a board, which you have done, on the mission and vision and core values of the school district. And reading them back reminds you of the time you went through that process to create that vision, engaged people in saying it. And I know those words, although it's a somewhat of a tradition to read them, they mean something to you because you live them every day. And so reinforcing them tonight models that for the school district, that says this is what we stand for, and creates a filter. But that vision doesn't stop with those statements. For boards that are on fire to improve, they create a focus for improvement and set goals. And so the tie-in to goals models that, the goals you have for the district. And I know that boards, when they do that work, have a challenge because you can't do everything at once. There's always more need than you can meet. And the staff can't make all improvements at once. In fact, there's actually a phrase, and some of your education professionals will know it. It's called implementation overload. They have so many initiatives going on that they can't do any of them justice. And so that's another thing that where the culture of the board can impact the culture of the classroom is when your administration, with the input of the staff, brings you, these are the most important things that we need to work on to make a difference for kids right now. You protect that and give them time and space to do that work. So I call that focus. That goes right with that vision element. And then a third one is balancing accountability with support. You have that focus and those goals to improve, but then you have to hold the staff accountable for making progress on the goals that they said were important, that they brought you as important. And you do that by asking for reports at the board table, monitoring their progress, and that's what I would call accountability, but you balance that with support because things are not going to go like you plan. in any system, whether it's a school district, a company, the state of Iowa, a nonprofit association, when you're trying to make improvement, sometimes you get unexpected things you didn't plan on, things don't go as you wanted, and you have to problem solve. And so that's what I call balancing that accountability with support. What else do you need? What else do you need? Always expecting progress, but also providing support, time, training, just capacity building role of the board. And that occurs at this board table in conversation with your staff. And the fourth one is community and stakeholder engagement. You just can never get enough of that to support that important work. So the structures you have, your school improvement advisory committee, the facilities committee, and the host of things I just refreshed myself about on your website of business partnerships and relationships with the community as a whole make a huge difference. And your support of the administration and staff in their relationships with the broader community. And I'd tie that to your transparency principle, guiding principle about sharing information, but also it's listening, isn't it, to the community and those stakeholder groups and what they want for their school district. And then the last one, which I know you've worked on, because I was here one night when you did, was the ability of a board to speak with one voice. You don't always agree as 5 or 7 school board members, and that's fine. That's democracy. But in the end, the ability to come out of that and say, to move this district forward, we're all on the same page about these things. And that takes time and effort because, well, we can be in the same meeting and not walk out with the same understanding of what occurred. And that is also work I know that you have done. So those were my 5 big roles of the board to talk with you tonight, because I see those playing out in an important way. I should have said the board superintendent team, because everything hinges on your relationship with that key employee that you hire and who leads the district. And I'm sorry, TJ couldn't be here tonight because he and I have had many good conversations about what leadership looks like, and I appreciate his support and collegialship, is that a word? As well. So thank you again for inviting me, and I'm also glad I could be here tonight to celebrate your 165th anniversary as a district.
Thank you very much, Lisa. Do any board members want to say anything? Director Potts.
On the other side of that coin is, we started this journey back with the Iowa School Board Association. Our first meeting was in the conference room in the bus depot with the Creative Arts Academy. And the support that we've gotten and the encouragement that we've gotten and the education that we've gotten through the staff development that we've done with the Iowa School Board Association has been fundamental to how we have developed as a board. And that's a credit to the talent that you brought to the plate for us.
Director Poston.
I'll just echo what Bruce just said. I mean, I'm very thankful for what your staff has done for us and all the workshops and leadership training that we had was greatly appreciated. And it has helped us immensely, especially through some of the crisis events that we've gone through. So thank you.
Director Beck.
Yeah, along with Bruce, I was here for that initial board meeting along with Dan and Linda, and we've come a long way. But thank you so much for your help in that, because we couldn't have done it without you guys. And the IASB has been a wonderful organization for us under your leadership. So thank you.
So it's Harry Heiligenthal and Lou Ann Gavis that you're talking about have been the primary liaisons, and they have learned as much from working with you as I think they have given.
Director Hayes.
In echoing what everyone said, I do remember the meeting and even the beginning before the first meeting was set up. And we have come a long ways with your help. And it was kind of nice. We're thankful that you shared your story so we can see, although this is the first for the state with the board, that it's not the absolute first. And with you all's leadership, we were able to see that, you know, it's just one of those things that could potentially happen, but we're glad we were able to dig out of it. And thanks again for your help, and we'll miss you.
I will say, and Harry and Lou have been phenomenal to work with. I know kind of when we went through this stuff, Director Potts was the president at the time, and then I took over as president. And it's been immensely helpful, all the board presidents' workshops and things that I've been able to do and learn a lot about working with colleagues, and it's made our board meetings very productive. And the workshops have been phenomenal. We just did one last week, and I'm going to bring some of that back, and we're going to try to do that here locally because I think it was very beneficial. And sometimes I think we lose sight of things, and it's nice to bring that in. The ISB has been a great resource, as well as collaborating with other school boards from across the state. And then I'm going to shamelessly plug myself that I'm the #1 with the most hours in an ISB trainings for right now at like 36 or something. But thank you so much. Davenport has came a long way, and if not for the help of other people along the way, we wouldn't have gotten to where we are today. And it's, at the end of the day, it's better outcomes for our students and our student board members over there. So thank you very, very much, Lisa, and we're glad you could be here with us tonight.
Thank you.
Actually, before you sit down, you want to do a photo with the board? And then I could chime in too. So as I said at the beginning of the meeting, we are moving subject 2.02 on recognitions to the next regular meeting. We will move on to subject 2.03, the recognition of our student board members. I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Driscoll, and I'm going to tag on to it as well.
So student board members, first thing we want to say is thank you. Time is the only thing that we can't make more of, and you guys are giving so much of your time that so many high school students allocate those minutes and hours somewhere else. So that's the first thing we want to say is thank you. The second thing is we want to celebrate and recognize student board members just like we want to recognize our school board members with our superintendent, and he is not here today. So the reason that we're not prolonging this completely is we recognize the end of the year is coming, and it is coming fast, and we recognize that there are many things, senior nights, graduation parties, and other things that may be coming. So we were concerned that we might not see the full group here another day. So we do want to take a moment to thank you for your time in nothing more than words. We know that our superintendent has a little event planned for us, and it was going to be tonight. The weather wasn't great tonight, nor was his health agreeing with us. So this could be fortuitous change of plans. But again, thank you for your time. Thank you for your service. There's so much grown-up talk around at a board table, and I did hear our last visitor say the culture of the boardroom mirrors and impacts the culture of the classroom. And that's something that's very important for us to remember. Culture, when we hear that word, it has a lot of baggage, but culture just means the way we behave in any setting. So there's a culture in your family, there's a culture at a board table, there's a culture in each classroom you have, the way that the people in there interact and behave. And we can't do what we do without the voice of our students. So thank you for being such a positive representation of what the students in Davenport have to offer.
I will echo that as well, and it is greatly appreciated y'all's input and give us some that perspective from in the classroom and what's going on in your buildings. And I really appreciate the fact that you also talk about your feeder schools and you're that invested to go down and look at that and bring back reports on the things that are going on in that. And I can't tell you, out of all the workshops I go to, I get asked from other districts all the time, well, hey, how do you guys do student board members? How does it work? And I'm like, hey, watch our YouTube channel. They chime in all the time and they kind of give us the feedback on what's going on and things like that. You guys are trendsetters, and a lot of districts are looking at doing that because student voice is very important, and we greatly appreciate all of your input at our meetings and with our discussions and things like that. And you're not shy about it. You kind of let us know what's going on. So it is greatly, greatly appreciated. And we all know that you have other things going on and other places you could be at, whether it's other after-school activities, sports, whatever. And we greatly appreciate you giving up some of that time to be here with us. And if any of the other board members would like to say anything. Again, thank you all so much. We will have certificates for you that I believe myself and the superintendent sign. And if you're not at the next meeting, we'll make sure we mail them to you so you can have them. So thank you all very, very much. We greatly appreciate you. And we'll give you a round of applause here, and then we'll have you come up and we'll do a photo with you too. All right? Thank you again. Before I move on to the next thing, student board members, would you like to say anything?
So all year, the biggest kind of question on my mind as a board member, as a student's board member, has been, what is my purpose here? What is my job? What is my role that I am to play in this position? And as you've kind of alluded to, it's really just become giving you guys a student voice to hear and consider, as well as to serve my peers and classmates and their younger siblings, people in our feeder schools, as well as to even serve our teachers to a certain extent. As a student, I have a different perspective of a teacher than you guys do here at the board. And in all of those things, I think it's just really affirmed my personal belief that despite all of our differences, we can really come together to do great things. And so I just want to say personally, thank you for allowing me to be a part of this. And I want to say thank you to you guys for just creating this sort of community. You know, this is the sort of bond that we will always have. Yeah, thanks.
I need I need to echo some of what he just said. With number one, kind of like what he said, the fact that you guys have been so accommodating isn't the right word, but it's the one I'm going to use, with allowing us to have the freedom to not only share our stories from our schools and from our parts of the district, but also our freedom to be honest, to tell you guys what we think, our ideas, without any reservation that we're going to get looked at weird or yelled at or anything like that. And I can't thank you guys enough for that. And I also want to kind of strengthen on what you said, where all of us have kind of fallen into a kind of almost a work friend group, but we all came here. I knew you for sure, and I know we've talked before, but not very much. But we effectively all came here as darn near strangers and just went, "This will work," and it's been flawless since day one. And it was this will be something I will. When it comes to the education world, I don't know where I see myself on that front in the future, but if I do land anywhere near it, I will see where I can find a place to advocate for this, because this will be something I will never forget. So thank you guys.
I'll keep this real short, but thank you guys for the opportunity. It's been great to be able to see this side of the school, and also from Lily and I. Thank you for giving the Hellers one more place to put their voice. I know they're not heard much in the Davenport, but yeah, thank you.
I'd just like to echo their thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to be able to sit here and listen to all the different points of view and all the great things that are happening in our community, because I feel like I don't get enough of this perspective. And also thank you for being accommodating to our very busy schedules. It's so sorry for missing so many meetings due to show choir and other various activities. This has been one of my favorite, though.
Thank you very much, student board members. And we always do employ Hellers, so feel free to come back after you leave and move on.
Heller for school board.
All right, we will move on to our next presentation, which is subject 3.01, the 165th year proclamation. And if State Representative Mike Vondran would please come up to the podium, he's going to present that.
Good evening. This is unusual for me, very unusual, but it's a big day. The Davenport School District was founded May 3rd, 1858. To our research, it's the oldest continually operating school district in the entire state. That's a pretty amazing feat. And in that 165 years, as was alluded to earlier by a speaker, there have been a few challenges, but the district has always come through and will continue to come through. Tonight, I'm joined by members of the House and the Senate in Iowa, and a few of our colleagues who were not able to be here. Certainly want to extend their gratitude for your work and your efforts and successes. But if you'd allow me, I'd like to introduce those that have come with me tonight, too. Representative Gary Moore, Senator Carrie Gruenhagen, Senator Chris Knoyer, Senator Scott Webster, and Representative Luana Stoltenberg. You've got a lot of friends in Des Moines. Your work has been recognized, continues to be recognized, and I can stand here and sincerely tell you, you are the talk of the town. You're doing amazing things, and it's been recognized. Would like to encourage that. Would like to let you know that you're being seen, and it's appreciated. And so on behalf of the Iowa House and the Iowa Senate and the governor of the state, we'd like to present you with with a state proclamation tonight. And if you'll bear with me, pardon me. From the Executive Department, proclamation. Whereas the Davenport Community School District has served their community for 165 years since its founding on May 3rd, 1858, and whereas the mission of the district is to enhance each student's abilities by providing a quality education enriched by the diverse communities they serve, and whereas the district vision leads to an education that challenges conventional thinking, prepares students to compete in a global society, and inspires students, parents, staff, and community members to ask the question, what if? And whereas we recognize during the month of May a celebration of Davenport Community School District growing excellence for their students and honoring 165 years of service to the greater Davenport, Iowa community, now therefore I, Kim Reynolds, Governor of the State of Iowa, do hereby proclaim May 2023 as growing excellence for 165 years. Congratulations. That's amazing.
Can I just say, just as a former school board member, I just want to say how much I appreciate what you all have done. I know you've all dug in very deep and you've taken the time to do the ISB training. That is something I never regretted doing as a school board member. And it's really a testament to you and your student board members and then your administration team that you've just done tremendous work in this district. And what you really, I think you give hope to any district out there that is struggling. You give hope that they can look to you and know that if you can all come together with that common vision, your vision and your mission statement and your guiding principles. And remember, it's not just for some kids, it's for all kids. And not in one thing, but in all things, and making sure that you are preparing your students to be successful after they graduate from here, and making sure that you ask that question, is this good for kids, every time you make a decision. It's just so important. And I just have to tell a fun TJ story. So the last time I saw your superintendent, he was coming out of the governor's office at the state capitol, and if you could have bottled his energy, you could probably keep the lights on in this school district for a year. He came out of the governor's office and he was so excited. He had just had a meeting with Governor Kim Reynolds and he was telling her all about the IJAG program and the apprenticeship program for aviation, the aviation program. And it was just so exciting. He came out of there and he just was lit up and was telling me all about it. And so he is one of your biggest cheerleaders and champions. And it was just really exciting that he got to come to the state capitol and share that with the governor. So what you're doing, like what Representative Vondran said, it's noticed, it's appreciated, and you're doing great things for the kids in your community. Thank you.
Okay. Well, I've got to tell a TJ story then too. Only because he's not here and he can't hit me. The governor has coffee on a weekly basis and invites some folks in from time to time just to sit down and talk about things and kind of share what the executive branch is doing and what's going on and what our thought process is. Well, the last coffee was this past Wednesday morning at 8 o'clock. And she wanted to sit down and talk about some education initiatives, and some of it had to do with Chapter 12 and some things, and her promise and a commitment that we're going to do more to allow districts to do what they do best. And we're looking forward to that. But then for her example was that every time she sees TJ from Davenport, she gets all excited because his energy is so overwhelming. And she was quoting TJ to the rest of the legislative attendees. I thought that was so cool. I mean, I'm sitting back there, in the corner, just drinking my coffee and kind of going, this is pretty cool, man, It's all right. But it's all good stuff. And while TJ might be the front, might be the face of the district on occasions like that, it's all the work that's done behind the scenes. It's done in this boardroom. It's done with the teachers in the classroom. It's done with administration that makes all the difference in the world. It's done with having active student body board members that come to these meetings and participate, not just to sit, but to participate with voice. It's amazing. It's good stuff. So again, on behalf of the Iowa House, the Iowa Senate, and the governor, thank you very much for all you do, and looking forward to more great things to come and talk about. And with that, if I might just present, we might present.
Thank you for that presentation. We will move on to student board reports. Start at whichever end you all would like.
Howdy. Starting from North High School, girls tennis will be going to regionals, which is exciting. Vivian's on the tennis team. She's excited. Our drama club is going to host our annual banquet next Tuesday, May 16th. Basically, we get to celebrate our season, and it's open to all the students and families who participated in the shows. And it gives us a chance to not only thank the students and their countless hours, but also the families, because they're so important to putting on our shows. And then show choir has now officially been, results are out. We know who's there. C Stage has grown in numbers, and Northside is steady at the same number it was last year. So we are so excited for hopefully a better season. Grand champions.
Yes, and our show choir camp will be in June for learning choreography. So this last weekend, large group contest was hosted at Bettendorf High School, and we would consider it a success for our music program because our orchestra, concert chorale, and band all received a Division I rating, which is the highest rating you can rank at large group contest. Speaking of orchestra, our senior orchestra will be visiting elementary schools this month to play concerts and recruit second graders and up in our feeder schools. And our National Honor Society branch is planning their spring service project, and we'll be going to Fillmore to host a sensory-friendly field day for the special ed classes.
All right. So also, May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and we've acknowledged this both in our MVP meetings. Actually, today our Mentors for Violence Prevention lesson today to the freshmen was on mental health awareness, and so through that, as well as last week, we had a Mental Health Awareness Week. And so each day we had a different theme. Green was the color. We got these really nice wristbands and things like that to really just promote mental health awareness. March 24th, graduating students are invited to their March 30th, graduating students are invited to their elementary alma mater to be celebrated by currently enrolled elementary kid students. So that'll be exciting. Our dual enrollment class of 2023 is graduating this Saturday at the Mark at 12 p.m., I believe. And we also just want to say a quick congrats to our prom queen, Zaria Robinson Wyatt, and our king, Isaac Todd Balden. Prom was great, and we had a lot of fun. And I hope that they can continue to have fun every year. One more thing I do want to add. This month for high school students can be crazy, especially for seniors, but particularly for some students who are taking AP courses. I had two to take last week. Some people are a lot more ambitious than that. Some people, it's really tough to study for an AP course. That is a college level course, and many times you will finish the class and then you're left to independent study for 3 months before the exam. It's a very hard thing to do, and I just want to celebrate the fact that we have many students just at North. I obviously can't speak to Central and West, but I know for a fact that there are several dozens of students who are taking these exams, and it's just a great achievement that I just wanted to kind of acknowledge. Thank you.
I might as well tag on to that. Yeah, I just did my AP calculus exam today. Never again. That was horrible. But yeah, you're right. We still we had a couple dozen today taking calculus. We're gonna have probably around 15 people. I probably just blew the mic up. Sorry about that. About 15 people this Wednesday. I'm joining in on for AP Spanish. So yeah, I can agree. It is very hectic. You can kind of feel the energy shift, both as the year's coming to a close, and also with the fact that people are now having to either take all of the energy they've put into these classes over these past couple months and put this into this exam, or try to find it again after they've been out of it for a couple months. So very interesting times. But on to actual news. On May 15th, West will be hosting its annual awards ceremony. So this is for people who have earned cords for volunteering, National Honor Society, Seals of Biliteracy, recognition for any certifications they might have been awarded, that kind of stuff. So we're looking forward to doing that. And then everything I'm going to read on from now, I have to thank Mr. Driscoll right here because he has been my plug for so much news throughout the district this past oh my goodness, how many months now? Going on 8 months. And no, I'm not going to shush Mr. Driscoll because you put in so much work getting me a lot of this news, and a lot of it I've of course sourced myself. But Mr. Driscoll, thank you so much for the work you've put in, including letting me know that we've had approximately 50 student athlete volunteers assisting Buffalo residents with placing sandbags down for the flooding that's recently occurred at the Mississippi River. So we're obviously we're praying for everybody who's lost their home due to this event, and we're hoping for everyone to recover from this. We had Mr. Massey over at West assist with a K through 12 tech camp, assisted by some other cybersecurity professionals in the Quad City area. We had Mr. Wolf, our art teacher, win B100 Teacher of the Week. I believe not this past week, but the week before. So shout outs to him. The West Art Award is congratulating senior Abby Young on being selected as one of only 9 students in the state of Iowa to make all-state art team for the 4A level. Abby submitted a portfolio of 10 works and an artist statement that was judged by 4 college professors and recognized as outstanding. She will be receiving a plaque for the school in Des Moines on June 25th. And if by any chance anybody gets to see her, give her a huge congratulations, because obviously this is an amazing achievement. Let's see. We have a recognition for the Kenya Water Project. I know that just a board meeting or two ago, we had Mr. Smith over from West and the whole team. I want to personally give a shout out to Duro Johnson, who I would consider a good friend of mine, who put in an incredible amount of effort into the project along with the rest of the team. And they went down to Bluegrass and shared what they had done and their story. And then finally, the youth leadership team was hosted at Bluegrass. I happened to be a part of that. I wasn't unfortunately able to make that event due to some schedule changes that happened with this term. But Bluegrass was kind enough to host the youth leadership team to kind of speak to different students, specifically 5th and 6th graders, just to kind of get their sort of perspective on, youth leadership team only exists at the high school level, but all of this is stuff that is pertinent to the middle and elementary schools. So getting their view on sort of school issues is just as important too, as we all would know. So assuming I'm here next board meeting, this won't be my last, but in case something happens, thank you guys so much for allowing me to do this for these past few months.
Okay, so at Central, we have quite a few things. Last week at the MAC Championships, Central boys track and field team finished 6th overall, and standout performances of the night were Cadence McDowell, who placed 6th in shot put. Ty Harmson placed 6th in the 400 meter. Maddox Sullivan placed 3rd in the 800 meter. Owen Christie placed 4th in the 1600 meter. Tyler Ryan placed 6th in the 3200 meter, and in the 4x400 team of Ty Harmson, Maddox Sullivan, Wyatt Hillier, and Waleed Bacho, they placed 4th. And your 2023 MAC 4x800 meter relay champions were Ty Harmson, Maddox Sullivan, Owen Christie, and Peter Linehan. So that's very exciting. And then girls track also had their MAC championship too, and they also had great performances. The team recorded 49 season best performances as they beat Assumption, West, and North, and to finish in 5th place overall. Top individual performances came from Dylan Moeller, Hannah Ford, Maren Crowder, Ellie Linehan, Asia Pegas Jarrett, and Kalia Knox, and Alexis Bruce. And the top relay performances were the 1600 medley in 4th, the 800 medley in 5th, and the 4x800 in 5th as well. And we also want to wish them luck on their qualifying meet this week, sorry. And then girls soccer has also been playing a good season so far, and will have their last home game tomorrow versus North at Brady Street, and it will be their senior night. And we also wanted to congratulate goalie Addison Ford for being nominated as the MTI Score Standouts from WQAD. And we also had our signing day for college athletics, and we had 6 students signed to colleges. Students include Delaney Graves, who's going to University of Wisconsin-Platteville for volleyball, Cassidy Gertz, who is going to St. Ambrose University for dance, Anna Hodges and Isabel Buxbaum-Lara, both going to Scott Community College for soccer, Addison Ford, who's going to college at Drake for soccer, and Brady Lorber, who will be going to Marshalltown Community College for baseball. And we also have another Hawkeye in the building. Junior Isabel Heller recently committed to the University of Iowa to continue her swimming career, and she will join junior Hannah Cousins, also from Central at Iowa, in the fall of 2024. And we are super proud of both of them for being able to do that. And today is districts for a boys tennis team, and which started this morning. Jacob V seeded in singles, and Jacob Ellsworth and Carson Ford have seeded in doubles. And Central will also be having a decision day this Friday in the PAC to honor all seniors' future decisions. And you guys are all welcome to attend if you'd like. And then we also had our mental health week this week. So we will also be doing the same themes and getting the same wristbands and all of that stuff. And we will also, today in MVP, Mentors in Violence Prevention, we talked about mental health awareness in the classrooms. And then NHS also had their flag football a few weeks ago during prom week, which was very successful for the NHS society. And then finally, we wanted to congratulate Jania Lewis and Preston Vargas for winning Prom Court King and Queen. So yes, thank you.
I'm glad you reminded me. I forgot about this. That this past Friday we had our senior decision day. It was I don't know if the other schools do, but we had the senior 7. That's a thing over there, right? No, you don't do that. So we had the senior 7 over at West, and it's essentially it's not 7 things. You need to do 7 things, but there's I think like 11 or 12 things on it that are just sort of things that seniors should do. Take the ACTs one, do the file a FAFSA, tour a trade, union, or college, just to name a couple. And if you successfully complete 7 of those items, you can attend Senior Decision Day, which was this past Friday. So we had a good amount of seniors in attending, some going to University of Iowa, Iowa State, Drake, a couple going out of state to Missouri, some that are going to college but are undecided, and some that are just entering the workforce. So it's not, it's people look at Decision Day as just people that are going to college, but it's not only is it something much bigger than that, but deciding to go right into the workforce, if you have skills, and even if you don't have skills for that matter, but if you have skills and you just want to go right into the workforce, that is a completely valid decision. So I want to recognize everybody who not only completed the senior 7 and made it to that day, but who did have some kind of decision for that day. And even those who don't know, you don't always need to know even as early as now, but to those who were there to make their decision, I applaud you, and we're all going to have a very interesting couple of months, that's for sure.
Thank you, student board members. We always appreciate your input at our board meetings. We will move on. Board reports. Are there any board reports? Director Poston?
Director Klein, Jerome, and Director Goltz and myself attended the IASB Summit on Student Success. And so we enjoyed that and got a lot out of it and appreciate the workshop. And then on the 28th, and before student board members leave, just 1 second. So again, the three of us attended the River Action program honoring Laura McCreary, Davenport North teacher, and Greg Smith, Davenport West teacher, with their Eddie Awards. And then also Landon Freeman received a $1,000 scholarship from River Action. So Landon, congratulations to you on that. So you can go. And then on May 3rd, I attended the Amplify overview put on by the curriculum department, and the curriculum department did a nice job presenting to teachers on the Amplify program, and it gave me a good background on how that is going to proceed.
Director Beck.
So I just wanted to share a story that was shared with me the other day. So a family moved to Davenport just about a year ago, and they had a student with an IEP, and they went out of their way to make sure that I knew that they were having more success with their student and the IEP programming. The student gained like 2 years worth of knowledge in the year at Davenport, and so they're redoing the IEP, whereas the student had been in a neighboring district prior to this, I think 6th grade maybe, and had never really seen much success, and so they wanted me to know that it was by and far the best move that they had made for their child, and it was due to the fact that our special ed services were doing a phenomenal job. So,
Thank you. Any other board reports? Director Hayes? Oh, I thought you were grabbing your microphone there. I was watching. Director Poston already said it. Director Kleindrom and myself all attended the ISB workshop. Phenomenal workshop. Actually, we did one on poverty. It was really good that I've already reached out to Luann at ISB to see about putting one on for us locally and probably try to do it with some of our administrators and then some other local electeds and maybe some community groups so everyone understands the impacts on poverty. It was a very, very powerful workshop we did. It was really eye-opening on a lot of things that some of these families go through and things like that. So again, thank you to the ISB. And then also we jetted back from Des Moines so we could attend the River Action Awards that night as well. So seeing no other board reports, I will move on. I know there's no open forums tonight. Move on to consent agenda. May I have a motion on the consent agenda?
Mr. President,
Director Hayes.
I move the board accept the consent agenda as written.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Director Potts. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. Superintendent report.
None at this time.
Committee reports. Do you have anything for your data wall?
Nothing at this time.
Okay. Finance committee.
We'll be meeting in a couple weeks.
Okay. Nothing for legislative advocacy. Do you guys have anything for LZAC? None at this time. None at this time for long range facilities planning. And no policy committee report tonight. All right. We'll move on to items requiring action. May I have a motion on subject 10.01 Aruba maintenance renewal?
Mr. President,
Director Hayes.
I move the board approve the attached contract for Aruba maintenance renewal 2023 effective July 2nd, 2023 to July 3rd, 2024 for $73,120.04.
Thank you. Is there a second? Seconded by Director Potts. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Ayes have it. May I have a motion on subject 10.02, Fortinet Chromebook filtering renewal?
Mr. President,
Director Poston.
move the board approve renewal of the attached contract for Fortinet Chromebook filtering effective March 8th, 2023 to June 30th, 2024 for $49,120.50.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Director Hayes. Is there any discussion? Director Beck.
I noticed that it says effective date March 8th, 2023. I thought we were at the point where pretty much everything that was brought to us was for the future. Do we have a reason for why we hadn't seen it before now?
My apologies. Could you repeat the question?
I noticed that the effective date is March 8th of 2023, and we're voting on it now in May, and we have been at the point where pretty much everything we vote on, we're voting on, so it's not retroactive. We're voting on it in the future. So I was just wondering what the reason for having an effective date of March 8th when we're voting in May. Like, why didn't we get to see it? Why didn't we vote on this in like February or something? And it could be that something came up and I don't know what it is, but.
I believe the intent was to continue to align all of our contracts with the July 1st start of the school year. I think this one has been moved out for reasons that I'm not sure of. So that's where we're at with that one.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. May I have a motion on subject 10.03, Google Workspace for Education renewal?
Mr. President,
Director Hayes.
I move the board approve the annual renewal for the contract for Google Workspace for Education Plus at $61,272.25.
Is there a second? Is there any discussion on this? I just have one. It's a Google Workspace, but we just switched all of our emails over to Microsoft, so why wouldn't we use Teams or something compatible to that? It seems kind of redundant to me. I'm just curious why we would bounce back and forth, because Google and Microsoft don't jive.
Yeah, that is an important question, and it's one that we've been struggling with for many years, quite frankly. We really needed to move into more up-to-date software for that for some time now. Part of the problem was framing the issue and really understanding it, and there was so much other things going on in our district that we really couldn't bring everything around that issue. It was brought to the forefront, of course, when we had the breach situation exist in the district, and we didn't have a lot of time to choose those things. We did seek outside advice on that and brought in other people to help us make that decision, and all the advice we got said that a district our size really needs to be based on the Microsoft platform to do all the things that we need to do. And since the products do work together and don't really impinge on each other, we get the best of both worlds this way, I'd say.
Okay, so Google will work with the Microsoft stuff.
Oh, absolutely. We've been a merged system since almost the beginning of Google, and I got to tell you, I'm a fan of Google. And I brought it into the district for them all intents and purposes, before people really got excited about it and stuff. And so it's not a rivalry as much as it is what's the best product for us in a given time frame and what we're trying to do with it. And I think we've really provided a great resource for our district staff and our students, because both products are very prevalent in the world out there, and we want to make sure they've got opportunities for both.
Okay. Yeah. I can't get it figured out how to make the two jive, but if you got it figured out, thank you. Any other discussion on that? All right, seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. May I have a motion on subject 10.04, installation of model classroom equipment in elementary?
Mr. President,
Director Poston.
move the board approve the contract for installation of model classroom equipment 2023 with CDWG for $221,652.96.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Director Harris. Is there any discussion on this? He even hung around up here just in case.
I was getting tired.
We talked about it last week, or 2 weeks. We already talked about this one 2 weeks ago.
I was just making sure someone's paying attention. That's all. All right. Seeing no discussion, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. All right, we will move on to discussion items. The first subject for discussion is 11.01, Hayes Office Roof Repair. Turn it over to Mr. Driscoll, who's probably going to turn it over to Mr. Hermansky.
Mr. Hermansky. The Hayes office itself, the roof is leaking into the office space. So if you walk into the office, you see all the stained ceiling tiles. We had a contractor come out and take a look at the roof for us. We can find underneath the rubber roofing that the insulation is wet and depleted underneath. So in order for it to work correctly and to get it repaired, we need to fold back some of the sections of the roof, take out the bad insulation, replace it, and then recover it again. In the situation, we're going to try to utilize a new fluid applied rubber cover for the roof. So the roof membrane itself in most of the area of the roof is still good. So we would like to reutilize that if we can, and reuse this fluid applied rubber. And it's been used quite a bit in neighboring districts and some places around the state. And we've looked at it and it's holding up well. It's got a 20+ year warranty with it, and it's about a third of the cost. So there's a few things we like about that. We also don't need to put all the rubber membrane into the trash. So it's kind of, I don't want to say necessarily a green thing, but it is. We're not contributing to the landfill. In this situation, we're going to pay for it through PEPL, and it's around $98,000.
Any questions, Director Beck?
I apologize if you said this and I just missed it. So the rest of the roof is still in great shape, and it's really just this one section. So
There's a couple different sections where they found fluid underneath of the roof itself. So something could have fallen on the roof at one point. It hit one spot, caused a hole, and then water went in there and, caused a pooling of water underneath the rubber. But for the most part, the rubber on the roof itself as a whole is pretty good. Okay. So if we can use it for a longer period of time without replacing the whole thing, that's what we want to do.
Okay. And so does this come with a, like, I don't know, if it leaks again in the next year or 5 years, they'll come out and...
Yeah, there's almost I might be wrong by saying 20. I almost think it's a 25-year warranty. I said over 20-year warranty on it. Okay. So it should hold up just as well or better. Okay.
Yeah, because I'd hate for something to go wrong and then we have to pay for them to come out and basically do the whole thing.
Yeah, we were concerned about it, and we didn't start doing it right away in a couple of roofs, but we went and looked at some other roofs that had it done, and what I'm hearing is good news so far. Okay. So
thanks.
Any other questions?
I just want to clarify one thing. There's going to be a roof repair project at Hayes also in another portion. It's on the Hayes Gym, and it's from roof damage through a storm. And the dollar amount I'm being told right now, it's going to be $98,000 also. So just to make sure, they're both $98,000. So if you see another one come through, they are two different things. But I want to tell you that now.
Director Hayes?
Is it possible that they could do them together and lower the price?
One, it's just timing right now. So one of them is an insurance claim, and this was already started ahead of time. So potentially, but I think the roof repair itself on the other building is damaged from storms. So I don't. It's not really the same. One's a fluid applied project, and another's going to be a tear off and replace project, from what I'm understanding at this point. But we could explore it. I mean, it's not unheard of. The timing of it is just what it is.
Any other questions? Since there was water leaking in, is there any way to get? I'm assuming the roofing they used had a warranty on it from before. I mean, are we able to get something back on that warranty? Because
My belief is it's a damaged section. So like there's holes that were put in by something or someone or something on that roof. You know, if it was like where they bind them together or there's a glue that would let go or something, that would probably be more of an issue. But in this case, I believe there's holes put in the roof in a couple spots where they leaked through.
that would be an insurance claim, though, if there's holes in the roof. Hail could have done it.
Well, it could. I think they kind of identify what it's from, and I don't believe they think it's from hail. So, and it would be. I think our insurance thing is around $100,000, our deductible.
And so they're gonna peel it back, replace the stuff underneath. But I'm assuming if it got all the way down to the ceiling tile, there's other things going on there, and then
It's leaked into the ceiling, so we'll have to replace the ceiling tile in the office to make that look better and stuff like that.
okay, and mold or whatever that.
Hopefully, that's not a word we hear.
Okay. 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 And they thermal image it. That's how they knew it was wet
Yeah.
and the air. They did the whole thing, or just around.
They do it all. They did it. They've been doing a number of our buildings. We're having them walk around and check our buildings for roof areas that are bad. And there's other roofs that need to be replaced down the road too. This is just us starting to progress through that areas we're finding and things like that. So yeah, that's exactly what they did.
Okay. And then the last thing I got, how old is that roof on that building?
I don't know the age of it.
Okay. Because I'm assuming we should have a cycle that after so many years, we know buildings need new roofs and things like that.
Yes.
Flat roofs, they're terrible. I don't know why anybody ever invented them.
Yeah,
Worst thing ever.
it's a struggle, and we have a lot of older roofs on our buildings.
Yeah. Okay. Any other questions? Is there any other information board members would need to, this will be on the next regular board meeting as an action item? I'm
Yeah, it
assuming?
should be. Yep.
Okay. Any other information anyone would need to vote on this? Okay. All right, so the next subject is 11.02 frontline education renewal.
So this is just for discussion. If you remember, we say frontline, but we all know it as Forecast 5. We'll forever call it Forecast 5. But frontline has 3 modules that we work with specifically that you all see. The 2 main ones are the budget management and the planning and analytics. So we do our 5-year projection. We can look back, we can look forward. That's what I bring to you every month when we look at our monthly report as it compared to prior years, year to date. And then the third one is the comparative analytics. We use that on occasion. We don't use it a lot, but when it gets to negotiation times, we can compare ourselves to the 5 up, 5 down school districts or neighboring districts that have all the information in that system that comes from the BEDS document. We can pull data to see how we compare to other districts. We don't use that on a regular basis, but we use it enough that it's worth us to purchase this subscription. So this is just the renewal of that subscription.
Any questions on that? Director Beck.
Sorry. Would we get a discount if we did like a 3-year subscription or a 5-year subscription? Or do they only do 1 year?
They only offer 1 year at a time, but I can check with them to see if they would do a multi-year subscription if you're interested in that.
I mean, if they only offer 1 year, I don't know, but usually you get, a little bit of a discount, and as far as I know, we know we're going to continue to use these products for the foreseeable future, so.
I'll ask that, and when we come with a recommendation in 2 weeks, I'll be able to let you know what the difference is.
Any other question, or is there any other additional information board members would need to vote on this at the next meeting? Oh, Director Hayes.
Kevin, do we use all 5 of the subscriptions that are available with them? Was there like 5
There's 3.
or 3 in there?
Yes, we use all 3.
Oh, okay. Okay.
There's a mapping component that we used too when we did our reorganization. That was a different piece to this.
It wasn't the subscriptions. It was actually the 5 employees that can use it. Do we use all
5
of those?
employees.
I'm wondering if we're using 5 of them. Then
We're not.
Is there any discount for fewer?
They start at 5.
Oh, okay.
There's 2 main users right now with that, but we had several more users on the mapping component. They allowed us to have much more than 5 because we had several people looking at that on that end. So they're pretty generous with that. So 5 is their start.
Okay. Thanks.
Any other information board members would need? That'll probably be on for action items on the 22nd. Okay. All right. We will move on to subject 11.03 Jefferson improvements. Mr. Driscoll?
So this is actually pretty exciting, I think, and we've been talking about starting to do some elementary school updating and upgrades. We talked about this at the committee of the whole a little bit about giving some of our schools a little refreshing. I believe my first summer here 3 years ago, I remember walking through Jefferson and going, man, this school needs some upgrades. So here's the beginning of that. So we want to provide an update to all paint and graphics within the building. So we want to add graphics. I don't think they have any graphics exclusively throughout that building. We also want to provide furniture upgraded for all the students and staff in that building all at one time. And we'd also like to upgrade the sign next to the road to a digital sign, because right now it's just letters. So while we're there, we want to kind of do a big refresh project at that building. If you're ever in that building, you see all the chairs and furniture. It's mismatched. Doesn't match anything. We would really like to just go in there and give the kids a clean look and provide a nice new environment. I feel like they'd benefit from it, and I think they would see some immediate change in what and how they see their building. I think we had talked at one point about buying furniture in bulk. If we bought it in multiple school buildings all at one time. We're still checking on that. I haven't gotten a response back on that yet, but if I get some feedback on that and it changes something in here, I'll let you guys know. Otherwise, we're going with state pricing on it. But if we can get better pricing, of course, we'll try to do that and utilize it.
Any questions? Director Beck?
So when it comes to painting and design and graphics, are you planning to have the students involved in choosing some of those or creating some of those, or students at the regional high school? I can't, West, I think for this one, do some of that, because we don't necessarily need to buy stickers and those kinds of things.
We can discuss that. We actually do have architect services planned for utilizing for this upgrade. We've hired people in the past and gone through and been like, just paint these walls quickly, but we want to do a little bit better, and we want to be more specific about where paint goes and what we're covering, and so it looks good and it gives them a nice new upgrade. It's not extensive. It's not very expensive to hire the architect, but student involvement would be a good idea.
I think that would be important, especially if part of the goal of this is to increase the students' feel of ownership of the school and connection, having the ability to participate in either creating some of the artwork or doing some of the artwork. And certainly most of the elementary schools need hallway display space anyway, because kids do projects and then they put them up in the hallway. But I think it would be a good idea to involve the students in some of those design decisions.
Yeah.
Director Poston?
Of this $700,000, are there any architect fees in this?
No. There's like $9,000 of fees, I believe, that we're paying for graphic design and things like that around the building. But that's, I think, the gist of it. We're going out and purchasing the furniture ourselves. The discussions around stuff like that, like where we place graphics and update some stuff is involved in that. The signage is working directly with vendors. There's no fees like that for those people for that.
And it looks like there's nothing major being done physically to the building. I mean, you're doing the painting and that, but are you keeping in mind when you go into these buildings? Because there was, we talked about further renovations there at Jefferson and that. You're looking out so that we don't do something now and then that has to be redone or whatever down the road.
Yeah, that would be the goal. We don't want to overlap projects. The only things I'm looking for that are bigger outside of that type of stuff would be like if there's funds available that feel like they would fit the need. Maybe we put some new carpet in some rooms or new flooring in some rooms that really are in need of it, or else maybe a bathroom that's in terrible condition. I feel like it would be needed to upgrade if there's funds available for that out of that fund. I think it would be okay to upgrade those things. We got to find out what the quotes come back at for all the other stuff first, and then we can start tackling some of those issues too.
And then how would you describe their cafeteria there? I mean, I've been in there, but it seemed like some confusion there. John, you've been in there. How would you describe their cafeteria situation?
Because of the setup with the cafeteria kind of butting up to the gym, they have to be pretty creative in how they manage that space. In addition, it can be pretty confining as well.
So, do you feel it interferes with PE classes then?
It has the potential to. I think they've done a good job of being creative and working around it. It's not ideal, but they've done a good job of managing what they have.
Yeah.
I think originally they may have taken some gym space for the addition of that lunchroom to get. Was it in the basement before?
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Oh, go ahead.
So would there be any kind of simple fix without getting into major remodel of doing anything different for the cafeteria then?
I feel like you'd have to take over a big space somewhere. So there would have to either be an addition onto a building somewhere or, I don't know where I would take over some space to do it. It would have to probably be an addition onto that building.
Okay.
Anyone have anything else? Any additional information anyone needs? All right. We will move on. Administrative reports.
Not at this time.
You're doing such a great job. Board requests. Are there any board requests? Board reflections. We'll start with Director Potts.
Well, there's two things stand out. I think one, the inviting the retiring head of the Iowa School Board Association. It was very, very thoughtful, very nice, very appropriate, because we've had a very good symbiotic relationship with them and that lady. Also, having half the State House and Senate here for 165th birthday party. And that was impressive.
Thank you, Director Potts. Director Beck.
the same, but also it was nice to be able to thank our student school board members for their service as well. And also what Bruce said.
Thank you, Director Beck. Director Poston? Director Hayes. Thank you, Director Poston. You gotta turn the mic on. Green light.
Okay. Ditto as well, and I enjoyed the 5 tidbits that Lisa left with us. And also was honored that we were thought of and received the proclamation, and it was kind of nice to hear, with all the troubles that we've had throughout the district, that TJ seems to stick out at the State House. That's kind of nice to know that, you know, he's well known in the State House.
Thank you, Director Hayes. Director Gordon?
Yeah, I want to just say thank you to all the student board members for their service. It's been a real pleasure and joy having them in the room this year. And I appreciate everything that they've brought to the table. They've given us a lot to think about, and they've given me a lot of hope for the future because they've shown what outstanding young individuals they are. And I will miss you guys. If I don't see you again, I'm sorry I couldn't be there to shake all your hands one last time tonight. So thank you.
Thank you, Director Gordon. Director Klein Jerome was on with us for a while, but she had to hop off to be able to take care of her husband. So that's why I'm not going to call on her. Mr. Driscoll, you're up.
Yeah, thank you. I would like to loop back to the comment that stuck out to me from our retiring school board member. And she mentioned the culture of the board and the culture of the boardroom mirrors and impacts the culture in the classroom. And then I heard Director Potts say to her, thank you for the support, thank you for the encouragement, thank you for the learning you've provided for us, and thank you for the professional development. And that really connected with me. And so I would like to honor and celebrate this board for modeling for us what exactly it is that we all need. We need to support each other in this district. We need to encourage, we need to learn together, and then we need to develop professionally. So I just saw that connection point between what she said and for what you pointed out to her. So I appreciate that.
Thank you, Mr. Driscoll. I'll just say ditto to what everybody said. And with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn, Director Potts.
So move.
Is there a second? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, same sign. Ayes have it, meeting adjourned.